Hey, beautiful souls, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah, and this is where I unravel the raw, heart-wrenching, and scandalous world of cheating stories that'll keep you glued to your screen. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss a single confession. Picture this: a late-night office, a forbidden glance, and a man I should have never touched, my husband's younger brother. His fingers brushing my skin, a pulse deep within me, and a secret that left my clothes clinging to my skin with desire. Want to know how it all spiraled into chaos? This story is a wildfire of temptation, betrayal, and a family fractured in ways you won't believe. Grab your tea, settle in, and let's uncover the scandal that broke me. I'm Sarah Thompson, a 38-year-old marketing manager who thought I had it all: a loving husband, a thriving career, and a stable life in Denver. But one sleepless night at work changed everything when I crossed a line with Chris, my 30-year-old colleague and my husband's charming brother. What started as a fleeting moment turned into a forbidden obsession that left my marriage in tatters and my heart torn between guilt and longing. This isn't just a cheating story, it's a confession of desire, deception, and a desperate fight to save what's left of my family. I'm ready to bear it all, even if it means facing your judgment in the comments. Let's dive into the drama. My story starts in a sleek Denver high-rise, where I built a life I thought was unshakable. I'm Sarah, 38, a marketing manager at a tech startup, known for my sharp pitches and endless hustle. My husband, Tom, 40, is a financial analyst, steady, dependable, with a warm laugh that anchored me through a decade of marriage. We lived in a modern condo with floor-to-ceiling windows, our evenings filled with takeout and Netflix marathons. No kids, just us and our dreams, though the absence of little feet sometimes left a quiet ache in my chest. Tom's younger brother, Chris, was a fixture in our lives. At 30, he was a graphic designer at my company, hired on my recommendation, a decision I'd come to regret. Chris was Tom's opposite: reckless, charismatic, with tousled dark hair and green eyes that seemed to see too much. His t-shirts hugged his lean frame, and his playful smirk could charm anyone. He'd crash at our place for game nights, his banter lighting up the room. I saw him as family, nothing more. But family doesn't make your breath catch the way his gaze started to. Our office was a pressure cooker: deadlines, late nights, and a competitive edge. My team included Lisa, 35, a sharp-tongued account manager who eyed me with suspicion, and Emma, 28, a bubbly intern who idolized Chris. Tom's sister, Rachel, 42, occasionally visited, her judgmental glances a reminder of the family's tight-knit bond. I thrived in the chaos, but the long hours strained my marriage. Tom was buried in his own work, our intimacy reduced to hurried mornings and tired kisses. I missed him, but I buried the loneliness, pouring myself into my job. It all began during a high-stakes campaign launch, 3 months ago. The office was a hive of activity, my team scrambling to meet a client's deadline. Chris and I were paired on a project, our desks side by side, his cologne, a mix of cedar and spice, lingering in the air. Late nights became routine, the office emptying as we pored over designs, our laughter cutting through the silence. His arm would brush mine, accidental but electric, sending a shiver through me. My blouse felt too tight, a betraying warmth pooling beneath my skirt, my breath unsteady. I told myself it was stress, nothing more. One evening, Lisa caught us laughing over a mock-up, her eyes narrowing. "Careful, Sarah," she said, her tone icy. "People talk." I brushed it off, but her words lingered, a warning I ignored. Chris's attention was intoxicating, his compliments, his lingering glances, the way he'd lean close to point at a screen, his breath warm against my ear. I'd go home to Tom, guilt gnawing at me, my clothes clinging to my skin with a need I couldn't name. I'd lie awake, my fingers tracing my curves, my heart racing with thoughts of Chris's hands instead. He was Tom's brother, my colleague. I was losing control. The tension peaked when Tom left for a week-long conference in Chicago. I threw myself into work, staying late to avoid the empty condo. Chris was there, always, his presence a magnet I couldn't resist. Emma noticed, her chatter turning to gossip, her eyes darting between us. Rachel stopped by once, her disapproval clear as she watched Chris tease me about a typo. "You're too close," she said later, her voice sharp. I laughed it off, but the accusations piled up, each one a crack in my facade. The first line was crossed on a rainy Tuesday night, the office deserted except for Chris and me. We were finalizing a presentation, the hum of the air conditioning the only sound. I wore a fitted blouse and pencil skirt, my hair loose, unaware of how the soft lighting caught my silhouette. Chris leaned over my desk, pointing at a slide, his hand brushing mine. The touch was a spark, a pulse deep within me, my skirt suddenly too tight, a slick warmth spreading beneath. I pulled back, my breath shaky, but his eyes locked onto mine, green and unrelenting. "Sarah," he said, his voice low, almost a growl. "You feel it, don't you?" My heart pounded, a mix of fear and want. I should have left, but my feet stayed rooted. He stepped closer, his hand cupping my cheek, his thumb tracing my lip. My lips parted, a betraying moan escaping as he kissed me, quick and hungry, his tongue a fleeting warmth. He dropped to his knees, his hand sliding up my thighs, lifting my skirt to reveal the delicate lace beneath, already damp with my desire. His breath was hot against the fabric, his lips brushing the sensitive skin above, teasing without crossing further. My fingers tangled in his hair, my body trembling as a swift, shuddering wave crashed through me, my clothes clinging to my skin, the air thick with our shared heat. It was over in moments, a stolen, oral dance that left me gasping, my heart a battlefield. He stood, his eyes wide with shock and longing. "I'm sorry," he whispered, backing away. I smoothed my skirt, my legs unsteady, tears pricking my eyes. "Go," I said, my voice breaking. He grabbed his jacket and left, the rain swallowing his footsteps. I sank into my chair, the damp fabric of my clothes a cruel reminder, my mind screaming at what I'd done. I swore it would never happen again, but the lie tasted bitter. Weeks passed, and I avoided Chris, rearranging schedules to keep us apart. Lisa's smirks grew sharper, her comments laced with venom. "Late nights with Chris again," she'd say, her voice dripping with implication. Emma's gossip spread, whispers reaching Tom's sister, Rachel, who confronted me at a family dinner. "You're playing with fire," she warned, her eyes cold. Tom noticed my distance, asking if I was okay, but I lied, my guilt a growing shadow. At night, my dreams were haunted by Chris, his touch, his breath, the pulse that wouldn't fade. My clothes betrayed me, damp with longing, a secret I couldn't wash away. The breaking point came during a late-night storm, the office dark except for our corner. Tom was still away, and I was alone with Chris, finalizing a client pitch. The rain pounded the windows, the tension between us a living thing. He'd been distant, respectful, but his eyes still burned. "We need to talk," he said, closing his laptop. My heart raced, a warning I ignored. He crossed the room, stopping inches from me, his cologne a forbidden warmth. "I can't stop thinking about you," he said, his voice raw. My resolve shattered, a tide of want pulling me under. His hands found my waist, lifting me onto the conference table, the cool surface a shock against my thighs. My blouse fell open, buttons scattering, revealing the lace beneath, already clinging to my skin with desire. His lips claimed mine, slow and deliberate, his hand sliding beneath my skirt, tugging the fabric aside to reveal the damp evidence of my need. His touch was patient, fingers tracing slow, burning paths, each movement stoking a fire within me. My body arched, my breath a series of moans, the slick warmth between us a shared confession. The storm raged outside, masking the sounds of our connection, my nails digging into his back as the wave built, relentless and consuming. His fingers pressed deeper, a rhythm that matched the thunder, until the tide broke, leaving me shuddering, my clothes soaked with our mingled heat, the air heavy with our sin. We collapsed against each other, our breaths ragged, the reality of our betrayal sinking in. "This can't happen again," I whispered, but the words felt hollow. He nodded, his eyes haunted, and we parted in silence, the rain a curtain hiding our shame. Tom came home the next day, and I was a wreck, jumpy, hollow, unable to meet his eyes. Lisa's accusations grew bolder, her emails to HR hinting at unprofessional conduct. Emma's gossip reached the office manager, and I was called in for a vague warning about workplace boundaries. Rachel confronted me again, her voice venomous. "I know about you and Chris," she said, her words a knife. I denied it, but the lie choked me. I couldn't hold it in. I sat Tom down, my voice trembling, and confessed everything, the kiss, the table, the longing I couldn't kill. His face went pale, then red, his fists clenching. "My brother?" he roared, storming out. Chris avoided me, his desk empty, his resignation letter a final blow. The family imploded, Rachel cut me off, Tom's parents pleaded for reconciliation, but the damage was done. I found my blouse in the laundry, still carrying his cologne, and burned it, but the guilt stayed. Tom filed for divorce, and I didn't fight it. I'd broken his trust, his family, our life. The office became a minefield, Lisa's triumph palpable, Emma's pity worse. I took a leave of absence, retreating to a small apartment, drowning in shame. Therapy peeled back the layers, my loneliness, my need to feel seen, my failure as a wife. Chris haunted my dreams, his touch a ghost, my clothes damp with memories I couldn't escape. Months passed, and Tom reached out, not for love, but for closure. He was dating someone new, but the family was fractured. Chris had moved to Seattle, Rachel refused to speak to me, and the Thompsons were a shadow of their former warmth. I offered to help, to bridge the gap, to keep the family's legacy alive. It was a desperate bid for redemption, but it felt right. I returned to work, under scrutiny but determined. Lisa had been promoted, her smugness a daily sting. Emma, now a full-time employee, offered hesitant support, her gossip replaced by empathy. I reached out to Chris, a single email apologizing, seeking forgiveness. He replied, brief but kind, wishing me peace. It wasn't closure, but it was enough. The family gathered for Tom's birthday, a tense reunion. Rachel glared, but Tom hugged me, a gesture of truce. We talked, not about us, but about healing, about moving forward. Chris sent a video message, his smile a bittersweet echo. I felt the ghost of his touch, my clothes betraying me even now, but I let it pass, a step toward freedom. A year later, Tom and I were divorced but civil, coexisting for the family's sake. I threw myself into work, earning back my team's respect, Lisa's grudging silence a victory. Jake, Tom's nephew, and Rachel's son, became a new light, his visits a reminder of what family could be. My pregnancy, a surprise from a brief, post-divorce fling, complicated things, but Tom embraced it, calling the baby ours in a way that felt like grace. The office was my sanctuary, the conference table a reminder of my fall and rise. I didn't date, but I felt alive again, my skin warm with possibility, my heart open to whatever came next. Chris's shadow lingered, a lesson in desire and consequence, but I was no longer defined by it. We're broken, but we're healing, a family that bends but never breaks. Thank you for watching, my loves. This was my hardest confession yet. Drop a comment, am I a villain or just a woman who fell? Have you ever faced a desire you couldn't resist? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more cheating stories that'll keep you hooked. I'll see you in the next one. Stay fierce, and take care.